Okay, kindergartners, are you ready to make some butter? It's super easy and super yummy. So I'm going to tell you what you need to get, and then you can pause the video, go grab your materials, and then come on back, okay? So first off, you're going to need a jar. It could be anything. This is an old jam jar. I'll tell you though that the smaller the jar, the faster you'll get your butter with less work, but you won't have as much butter. The bigger the jar, the more butter you can have, but you'll be shaking it for a long time. Salt, if you like salty butter. You'll need a little bowl or a bowl of any size, really, to, I'll tell you about it later, but to rinse off your butter. And then a cup of cold water, okay? So here we go. First thing you do is you're gonna, oh, did I mention? Oh my gosh, I totally forgot the one main ingredient. Heavy whipping cream. That is what you need. Your milk. You need your milk. So you're gonna take your fattiest milk that you can find, which is the heavy whipping cream, and you're gonna pour in your jar about halfway. So let me turn it so you can see. I'm gonna go about halfway up, okay? Then, of course, I like the salt, so I'm going to add a pinch of salt, or maybe 2. And then, of course, I'm going to put on the lid tightly. Make sure it's really tight. Then, you're going to shake. And you're going to shake until your arm feels like it's going to break. And when that happens and you pass it to somebody else and they shake for a good long while until their arm wants to break, and they can pass it back to you or they can pass it to somebody else in your family. So you shake and you shake and you shake and you shake. And you'll notice as you shake that the texture, the consistency of the milk, the heavy whipping cream, is starting to change. At first, you'll hear that it sounds less sloshy, right? And then you'll hear it get kind of quiet. You won't hear much movement at all. And then that means that your butter is starting to form. And then towards the end, you'll start to hear a slosh again, and you'll go, oh no, is it going backwards? What's happening? But if you open your jar, you'll see that inside is a clump of butter. And what you have that's sloshing around is the buttermilk. So, buttermilk. So right now, we've been probably shaking this for about a minute and a half. And you'll probably shake for maybe, with a jar this size, 6 minutes. So this arm is getting a little tired. I can switch arms. And that's actually really good exercise for both sides of your body. And you shake and you shake and you shake and you shake. And if you're curious, you can just open the jar. No harm is done in looking inside and seeing what's happening. Well, it's certainly getting thicker. That's for sure. But I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to fast forward to what happens once you hear the butter start to get quiet, not sloshy anymore, and then pick up that sloshy sound again. So hear that? It's softer, but it's liquidy. And the reason is that you have a clump of butter inside. Can you see it? A clump of butter. I'm going to pour out. Oh dear. Let's see. I'm going to pour out the buttermilk. And what's left is the clump of butter. Do you see it in there? So if you want to have, you could eat it just like this if you wanted to. But if you want to get rid of all of the buttermilk, then what you're going to do is put the butter into your glass jar and you're going to pour some cold water over it. And you're going to just toss it around in there so that it gets nice and rinsed off. Then you're going to pour off that water and do it again. And when the water ends up being clear, more clear than cloudy, see how cloudy that water is? Your butter is totally ready. But really, you could use it at this point. It's totally fine. And voila, I can lick my finger. Delicious. And now I hope your butter is ready too. Enjoy.